do that, of course, we have the help of Senator Althea Wiggins. She's the Prime Minister's special envoy to Suriname. And we're again speaking about that relationship, retrade, and commerce, and also distribution. And we got some other friends joining us this morning. We have Tracy Shuffler, the CEO of Caribbean and Distribution Partners. Good morning, Tracy. How are you doing? And
Good
Hans
morning, Shannon.
Hiralal.
Well, thank you.
Perfect. Hans Hiralal is the Marketing and Operations Director of and I think this is
So, Subisco.
Sabisco, something
Subisco.
like Wabisco here in
Not like the
Barbados.
disco, but say Subisco.
Sabisco, Sabisco International. Good morning, Hans. Hope you're
Good
well.
morning.
How's Suriname?
We are cooking with gas here. The sun is shining like everywhere in the Caribbean.
Listen, our skies here are overcast this morning. We got a lot of rain in this side of the region, but we are thankful. We're thankful, and we are also very thankful for this relationship that we're building out, and so glad to do that right here on Morning Barbados. Senator Wiggins, we're again going into that trade, commerce, and industry discussion, and focusing on distribution as well. Talk to us about those critical components and going into this part of the relationship yet again.
Good morning to everyone. Welcome, especially to Hans from Suriname. It's always great to have my Suriname people on this program. And thank you very much, Tracy Shuffler, for coming on. These individuals, they are both in the distribution trade. And when we started this relationship with Suriname, many persons were asking, well, if I want to import things from Suriname, where do we store them? Who do we deal with? And we have distribution networks in Barbados. So, hence, this is why I chose these two guests. And I first want to hear from Hans in Suriname because he told me that he also does distribution. His network works with Guyana, and he wants to form a tripartite relationship in terms of the distribution network with Suriname, Guyana, and Barbados. So, Hans, tell us a little bit about your company and tell us how you want to marry the three countries together.
So, good morning, everyone. It is an honor to be in this program. It is the first time for myself to talk to people from Barbados. Um, some 10 years ago, I came back from Europe to work for Subisco, a distribution company that was there for more than 35 years. We are specialized in food distribution, building brands, and taking care of brands of existing manufacturers. Um, so some 5 years ago, we started to branch out to Guyana because we understood that the community of Suriname and Guyana was not very different. Our taste for food, our background is quite similar. And traveling in the Caribbean, I understood that we as Caribbean we have to develop our network far more better. I understand that we are coming from different origin, from different parts of the world, but our destiny is the Caribbean. So we have to develop and break the walls that keep us separate. So talking about distribution, understanding the obstacles that is in each country. Of course, the Caribbean are small countries with not a lot of people, where they have borders. Everybody tries to keep his own manufacturing and industry together and protect it a little bit. But if you see the Caribbean as one single market, then it's much more to gain than to keep separate. So that is what we are trying to do from PSB, the business community, where my chairman, the CEO, was in the program some 2 weeks ago, where we talked also about developing and tearing down the border. So it's a process that is long term, but the vision is there.
Thank
Sweet.
you. Thank you.
Uh, Tracy, I want to get Tracy in here, Senator Wiggins, to talk about the prospects about rolling out this trade relationship, distribution relationship as soon as possible. I know there are a lot of interested parties just waiting to see the opportunities that abound in Suriname. How soon do you think, or how soon would you like this relationship to kick off in the new year? Because I mean, it may be hard with Christmas here upon us already. So looking at 2021, how soon can we get up and running with this relationship?
So, Shane, interestingly, we in fact have a trade relationship with Suriname and have had one in place for in excess with some of our products of 25 years. So it's not a new relationship with us. We have a number of brands which we do distribute into Suriname, and we work with about four different distributors. And so this is, in fact, a mature relationship that we have grown over a number of years and which has been actually very fruitful for us. So we have, for example, on the Goddard side of the business, because that's one of our shareholders, we have the McBride Caribbean Limited products, including Beep and Bop and Go and Shore Talks, which are distributed in Suriname. We have from our Trinidad manufacturing company, Swiss and Catelli, so, and we've recently launched one of our dairy brands called Moo into Suriname as well. So we actually have quite a mature trading relationship, and it has been working well. Of course, there are challenges in every market, but yes, it's been working well for us.
So
So it's
Tracy,
about building upon that. You go ahead,
mhm.
Senator Wiggins.
So Tracy, would you have worked with Subisco before this time in terms of the distribution process? Because I recognize from speaking to lots of Barbadians business
Mhm,
persons that distribution is their issue. Is there
mhm.
something that both your company and Hans Subisco can do? You can speak to me obviously off air to
Sure.
talk to the Barbadian companies who want this information, because this is a critical part of the relationship that Barbadian businesses are into. So, is there a way both you can work with Hans and Subisco?
We're always open to conversations and potential partnerships with strong, reliable partners. So yes, we'd be happy to continue the conversation and see what opportunities there may be. We have relationships, like I said, with some distributors already in Suriname, but to the extent that we can find opportunities to work with Sabisco and for other manufacturers and or brand owners to work with Sabisco, that might be a great opportunity.
Hmm. Perfect. Listen, I look at this whole conversation as a learning experience for our viewers, and especially for those entrepreneurs out there looking for opportunities, as Senator Wiggins would have said, to get into distribution. When we come back, I
Mhm.
want to talk about the lessons that can be learned from Suriname, from you, Hans, Tracy, on your end as well, and Senator Wiggins. We know that you cover all the bases. So we'll take a break here, but when we come back, let's focus on those lessons to be learned right here on Morning Barbados.
Good.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We're elevating the relationship with Suriname with our Senator Alfie Wiggins, the Prime Minister's special envoy to Suriname, Tracy Shuffler, the CEO of Caribbean and Distribution Partners, and Hans Hiralal, the Marketing and Operations Director of Sabisco International. Before we went to break, Senator Wiggins, I wanted to ask about these lessons that we can learn from Suriname, especially on the distribution end. You said Hans focuses on distribution with Sabisco. So there are some things that they do really, really well that I want to hear about. And I think that our viewers will want to know about as well, so that our distributors here can learn from Suriname. So talk to us about those best practices there, Hans.
So, working and distribution in Suriname, we are very much focused on Europe and a little bit of United States. There is a lot of challenges in the country. At this moment, we have a financial crisis and a scarcity of foreign exchange. On the other hand, the future looks good from Suriname because of the oil and gas experience development that we are having. So that is starting to pick up in 1 year time. So that is the right time for business people to be interested in Suriname, right? So distribution in Suriname means working together and finding the right partner. Because if you look at the doing business index in Barbados and in Suriname, and Barbados is 128 and Suriname is 162, means that Suriname has a lot of things to develop internally. So that ground and leg work can be done by the local partner. Barbados companies need to find the right chemistry among those partners. So one of the things that I would propose is having something like a seminar here in Suriname, and come with your product, and we organize with the PSB, the business people, so we come together and we understand the dynamic, etc., etc. The other element is that we need government involvement. Freight is a costly issue here because of the fact that we don't have frequent routes to between Barbados and Suriname. Cost is an enormous issue. So that is where we need the government and to break down the barriers. We need to understand from each other what the requirements are to bring products into countries in each other. So from exporting from Suriname to Barbados and from Barbados to Suriname. So that is what we need to change it. Legislation and understanding the requirement each country if it is regarding food, especially food. So that is my point, to find a partner where there is chemistry. Let them do the leg work in Sudan because they have a better developed network, and you as a Barbadian company focus on manufacturing and managing the business overall. But let the Suriname partner develop the market for you.
Yeah.
Yes, what I would say in response to what Hans said, just before COVID hit us, we were planning another trade mission to Suriname. Last year, we did have a small trade mission in terms of about 6 Barbadian companies that went to Suriname. But this year, we were planning a larger trade mission to Suriname and vice versa. So that process would naturally be on the way. We don't know yet in terms of the vaccines and the virus how movements are going to be. But at least for the time being, I'm still in the process of planning a virtual trade mission
Mhm.
until we can be there physically. So the planning of the virtual trade mission to Suriname is on the way. I'm in talks here with the Private Sector Association of Barbados in relation to that virtual trade mission. So that will happen. So even the news media hands, led by Shane at CBC, we are also planning to bring a camera crew down And we had spoken as well about the exchange of news items in both countries. So all that groundwork, I've done that before, but COVID caught us, and we more or less have to, do that work all over again. But all that is well on the way. But what I would like to find out is, again, in terms of the whole distribution network, because that is really, really critical for us. What are your first steps, Hans, that you want to do? And can you partner as well with Tracy in doing that relationship with Barbados, given that Tracy's company, which is the Goddess Group and so on, they have had 25 years of doing it. So if we have two experienced companies, I think that we are well on the way. So let me know how you would start that relationship.
Senator, I'm here not only on behalf of Subisco, but I represent a lot of companies. So I have a network of more than 100 distribution companies that are ready to distribute to the whole country, coast to coast. We distribute to the Chinese retailers on a daily basis. There are some 1,500 supermarkets in Suriname only, and it's a large country. We go to the interior. So there is not only me, but there are many more like me. So that is what I bring to the market and to Barbados, that it's not only Subisco as a company, but we have more than Subisco. And each one of us, we are competitors, but we work strongly together because we believe in a united organization that we are stronger if we work together in Suriname, but also with our Caribbean partners. So that is what I bring to the table.
Hmm. So, Tracy, a bright
Yeah.
future ahead, it looks like, for distribution between Suriname and Barbados. You spoke about the products that are already there. Do you
Mhm.
see us getting more of these locally developed and manufactured products in the Surinamese market in 2021? And if so, by what margin?
I wouldn't even hazard to guess the margin, but I definitely think that there are opportunities. And, when local companies are prepared and have a strong domestic base, that's when they're ready for export. And one of the benefits, I think, with doing business between Barbados and Suriname is the fact that we're both members of CARICOM. And one of the benefits of both of us being members of CARICOM is that you have common rules and regulations related to trade and engagement, and you don't get as many surprises as when you perhaps in some cases may go outside of CARICOM. And I'm not saying it shouldn't happen, I'm just saying that you have a much better understood and common field of commerce to work with. So, when it comes to labeling, when it comes to, what is required in terms of invoicing and what has to happen between the two countries for trade to blossom and bloom, it's well known because we are both working on the same, within the same trading bloc. So that's definitely um, something that is a plus between Barbados and Suriname. And I think the other thing is that we have products that culturally work together and are common. So in other words, very similar foods and very similar consumables for households and so on. So there are good opportunities, I think, between the two countries for increased trade. And like I said, it's anybody's guess what that limit is. But for ourselves, for example, we are looking at a new launch of the Eve brand into Suriname in 2021. So it's something that we've been working on for a little while. We have the rights to distribute the brand there, which we obtained. And so we're looking forward to that launch in 2021.
Lovely, lovely stuff.
Lovely.
Senator Wiggins, you want to take us out with some final words on this relationship? I mean, of course, we have some other ground to cover as we go on in this series, but your final thoughts.
Thank you, Shane. I am very pleased this morning with the discussion between Hans and Tracy. It shows that Barbados and Suriname will be doing a lot more business together than we envisage. And this distribution network were the bugbears that we were dealing with. And for the Barbadian business persons who are logged into this program this morning and future programs, we will be disseminating a lot more information in the various sectors. Hans belong to the powerful VSB STIA in Suriname, and their membership consists of many diverse business persons. And Shane, I can tell you, having a relationship with our organization has really enhanced, believe you me, this relationship with Suriname. And I tell you, from day one, when I went to Suriname, they were extremely cooperative in making sure that this relationship, this agreement that was signed, they are very anxious to make it where I can tell you that I speak to business persons in Suriname and some government ministers almost on a daily basis, and they want this relationship to work. I was very enthusiastic at how Hans came on board and willing to share a lot of the knowledge. And I was also very happy to speak to Tracy Shuffler, whom I knew a long time ago as a fantastic businesswoman in Barbados. And I know that working together with Tracy and Hans, I can tell you this relationship with Suriname is going to higher heights.
Well, we will continue to share everything that happens in this bilateral relationship with our viewers right here on Morning Barbados and across the world. But thank you all for coming and sharing with us this morning as we elevate the relationship with Suriname. See you next Thursday. Good to have you on, Tracy and Hans. See you soon.
Thank you, Shane.